Why I say it's always important that you come in the office that you're familiar with and you talk to things, because Yanni taught me something about getting leads off of Remind. And she's walking around with like a book of spreadsheet, like maybe 20 by something of a spreadsheet that has like at least 100 properties on each sheet. And she's like, all you have to do is go into Remind, group it, and they'll give it to you in a spreadsheet of a specific area that you want with everybody's properties on it. So Tiffany did it yesterday, and Tiffany was able to get it and print it out as well. So I'm telling everybody, stay in your territory of where you're housing. Don't go far out. So I had Tiffany like pull all the properties like in the surrounding suburbs of her to look it up. So what's on these spreadsheets is, these are just people. They're not in foreclosure. They're not missing a tax lien. But this is another resource for you to be able to know what's going on in my immediate area. So as you're going through the list kind of tells you how much equity they got into their property, right? Based on Zillow numbers, based on what the recorder of deeds say that they owe on the property. So a lot of people's houses are paid off. A lot of people's houses got a lot of equity in it. And Yanni's like, what I'm doing is every single week I tackle, because it's 100 on there, I tackle 100 of those every single week. And off of that 100, I've been at least getting 2 leads off of it, right? So again, from the list that we're providing you, and then if you're implementing the Remind, and we're going to have a training on that, probably a Zoom training on that, because that way that they can go through and teach you guys what to pull out, how to look at it, and things like that. But we're going to probably have a Zoom meeting on that next week, so that we're able to use that as a new tool, because it's the problem is a lot of times it's like what we're doing with our idle time, right? Our idle time is what's more important, because how could we turn our idle time into production and money, right? A lot of people be like, oh, I tried the foreclosure list, I called 100 people, and I didn't get a single person on that phone. Well, do you think like if somebody is doing something one time and done, is that going to make them successful? Right? It may be 3 weeks in a row that I get nobody on the phone, but it may be 1 week that I get 10 people on the phone. That still got me my 6 minimum listings per month. We're not saying that every single week is going to be that you get a particular amount of people, but you want to average out what your listings look like monthly. For most people, like I say, if you're working a job or if you're working real estate full time, it's coming to, if you're working it full time, you got to work it as a job, right? You got to have a specific time. So I pulled up like what most successful agents are doing to make that time. So the blueprint for daily prospecting is this. Most people do, goal is 40 to 100 calls a day. They block out time from 9 to 11 a.m. or from 4 to 6 p.m. every single day. That's a hungry agent. I want everybody to be very realistic with what that looks like for you, right? Because if you got kids, if you got stuff to do, this may not be your necessarily every single day kind of go-to. But if I say I want to make 200 calls a week or 100 calls a week, that looks like I'm going to need 2 days to block out those times. So if I only take 2 days, that's part of my job now. I'm working this like a job, not as a overnight if I flock. If I make it, if I do, I don't, I don't. So if you carve out your daily prospecting to 100 calls, I'm going to say you could do 100 calls a day, but I would only do it 2 days out of the week. I wouldn't overwhelm myself. I would do it 2 days out of the week. Scripts. Everybody want to know, and I've been so proud of the brokers that's coming in here, because y'all are not scripted. Y'all are just going with the flow just because you know what you're talking about now, right? You're losing your property. What can I do to help you step in? Sashay is, I heard her tell somebody the other day, like, we are experts in helping with it. Like Century 21 is an expert in helping with that. So that was like, she got it now, right? Because what she don't, but you got it.
I listened to you on the phone and I took your words.
You got it though, right? Because that opens up a conversation question for somebody, right? You got it. And I was like, I'm hearing it, and that means there is listening going on, because where you may not understand it, but you don't understand it, but you do have me. You do have other people to pick up. Last week, I closed 2 deals with an agent that was not mine. That made me, I closed it because I'm making $5,000 each deal. She bought them to me, but guess what? I told her this business just like I teach my brokers this business. She's somewhere else for her own purposes and reasons, but she's still making her 100 calls a week. She's like, I just do 100 calls a week. She said, I just take one day and do 100 calls a week. She was like, I laid off of it, but I'm back at it now, and it's been back working. And I closed 2 deals with her last week. Like, she made $5,000, I made $5,000. It's no way that I'm not even providing her our list. So that means she's probably paying for it herself or getting it from some other way or whatever the case is, and you got the resources to get it. So that means, like, to me, it's like, yeah, what I teach is impactful. Everybody likes it. Everybody can do it, but I want the people who are up under me to be able to do it and do it frequently, because to me, if you're not making money and you're just sitting there idle, why are you paying your real estate fees? I still don't get that for the life of me. But consistency beats talent. That's where that goes to. Consistency beats talent, right? If I'm consistent at something, I beat the talent out there, right? Because a lot of the talent is not being consistent. I could have a mouthpiece. I got a mouthpiece. I could sell, but I'm not consistent with selling because I'm not going to be able to teach, do this, do that, and do this, right? So you're going to beat my talent if you're consistent at the one thing. If you're listening to me, your consistency is going to beat my talent. That's all that means. Just like she said, I'm listening and I'm being consistent and I'm making the calls. So at some point, I'm going to mess up and get a deal, right? Because of my consistency. I'm going to mess up and get a deal because somebody's going to get on that phone that I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, right? And eventually that builds your talent. That makes you talented at it. It's not going to be from anything but mistakes. That's fair, right? Follow-up. Our follow-up game. I probably got 1 million follow-ups. I know I'm not going to follow up with those people. I know I'm not. 100% for sure I'm not going to follow up with them. Because that's not what I am a managing broker. I am a brokerage, right? I'm not trying to sell property. So for me, I can put it in my calendar, but 100% for sure I'm not going to follow up with them. But you as brokers, if this is your job, if you're saying, I want to have a strong 6-figure year, where's your follow-up game at? Who's exercising our systems right now? Our CRMs, our Moxies, all of that stuff. Where's your follow-up game?
I use follow-up boss.
Okay.
It helps. And these people, they really remembering me. They just not ready to go.
And it's okay. Because one day, it may not pay off for 10 years down the line. One day, when they need to buy or sell a property, guess who's still in their face? You are. You're still in their face. They don't have to think twice about, oh man, I want to sell my house. I think I need to get a real estate broker. Nope, I know a real estate broker. She emails me every month. She sends me out something every single month saying, do you know what the housing market is? Do you know what's heating up? Do you know how much value you got in your property? Let's sit down and make a cut. All it is putting it on auto. These systems are machines that work the business for you. All it is exactly what, and I'm going to keep using Sashay because she's in the office the most, and I listen. Y'all think I ain't around here listening. I listen, but the other day, I don't know what happened. You had somebody on a call. You said, wait, I'm just putting them into my system. That guy, the one that I was like, you tore up the thing, and you were like, I tore it up because I already added them to my system. That was an engaging moment, like, wow, she's listening, because if it don't become today, it could become next year, or it could become in 6 months, right? But as long as I stay in front of the competition of, oh man, when I need a broker, who can I think of? I'm going to think about her because she's always in my face. Every time I open my email, guess what? Her email is going to pop up once a month. I know she's going to tell me something about the housing market. So that's something that you guys gotta be mindful of, is your follow-up game.